Hello, I am Manuel. I am coordinating the facilitation of this course. You may have seen me posting in the comments section in the forums of this course.
And I'm Kate Borthwick. I'm the course designer, and I have a background in language learning and in teaching English as a foreign language. So let's first of all start by hearing some statistics. How's the course gone this week, Manuel?
Okay, well, let me take my notes for that. We have nearly 35,000 joiners in this course and 50,000 steps completed. Well, yes, only in week 3 we have received nearly 18,000 comments. Of course, we haven't read them all, but we have seen the majority of them, and they are all really interesting.
Thank you very much for all these comments. It's been amazing to hear what you have to say. Our mentoring team is reading as many as they can get through and responding where they can to the comments and starting conversations. So please, if you're reading a comment, reply to it and start your own conversation. We are finding that most of the comments are being put in week 1, although some of you have started putting comments already in weeks 2, 3 and 4, which is great. But I should warn you, our mentoring team will not reply to those until we actually start those weeks on the course. So don't worry if you don't have a reply. If you've put something in week 3, we'll come to it when we actually come on to week 3. If you see any of our tutors making comments and replies during the course, you can always follow them by clicking follow when you see their name and you see it says that they're a Future Learn mentor or tutor.
Yes, and also in the actual forum of the step, if you click on the comments of people who are you following, you can see us if you are following us. In the same way as if you click on most liked comments, the comments will appear in order of those that received most likes.
We're also really delighted to see how many people from all over the world are joining us. If you go to step 1.2, you can show your location on our Z-map. And we have people from over 120 countries at the moment, and it's just fantastic looking at that map and seeing where everyone's from. So if you haven't had a chance to do that yet, please go ahead and please do that. In fact, we also had an interesting conversation under the map where people started talking about accents in Australia and New Zealand and the differences and what people hear. So if you want to join that conversation, please do, and we'll share the link to that conversation with you in the step and on this video.
Yes, that was a great conversation. There have been many other conversations. For example, there are people talking about the age factor. You can see the link of this conversation here, and you can join it if you want. Actually, we encourage you to join it. Other conversations, such as that of the, let me check the notes, the debate of the learning styles. There are people who think that learning styles don't exist, and other people who think that it actually exists. And this conversation, this debate is very interesting, and we encourage you also to join it. In the same way as we encourage you to join another interesting conversation on the difficulties of reaching native-like levels. Actually, I have experienced this in my own in my own case, and you can have the link to this conversation here and also in the step.
Yes, I have to say, I've experienced that too, trying to achieve a native-like level of Russian and not really succeeding, actually. So yes, thank you very much for these conversations. Follow the links, find out more, join the conversation, start your own, and so on. I'd also like to encourage you to take part in the poll in step 1.14, if you haven't done so already. This is where we ask you to rate important factors, the most important factor that affects language learning. So far, in fact, in the first 3 days of the course, 75% of you said that motivation was the most important factor in affecting language learning, which I think is really interesting. We often associate motivation as being something very much associated with the learner, but I'd like to ask all of you teachers out there, how, as a teacher, can we have an impact on motivation? How can we help students to be more motivated in the classroom? Can we help? Is it something that is always something to do with the learner and what the learner is feeling inside? Tell us what you think about those things.
Yes, in other words, should we take responsibility of the learning of our language learners? And there has been a particularly interesting and popular step in the course, and it's that of the bottleneck hypothesis. This step has received only in the first 3 days nearly 1,000 comments, and I have noticed also in the reflection section of this week, which is the last step of this course, where the learners make their main points and takeaways of the week. I've seen that the bottleneck hypothesis has been highly mentioned. Actually, I have counted it, and there have been nearly 300 mentions to the bottleneck hypothesis. If you go to the step, you may and you click on most like, you may see a very nice thread that has started by, let me check the notes, by the dean, or the den, sorry about the mispronunciation. She says that her best students are those who are less afraid of making mistakes because they are more fluent. Or using the bottleneck metaphor, their bits come out of their bottles in a greater way when they are less worried about the correctness of what they are saying. If you want to join this conversation, just click on the link and enjoy it.
Yes, and I'm sure Ramyana would be very interested in that conversation and to see how that plays out. And if you missed Ramyana's live session where she talked about the bottleneck hypothesis a bit more, and she talked about meaning and lots of other things, then you can go to step 1.15, where we have a recording to that live session, and you can catch up with it again or watch it if you missed it the first time. Thank you very, very much for your activities on the first week of the course. It's been fantastic. We are thoroughly enjoying it. It's been great to read your comments. Keep them coming. Next week is week 2, and we're going to be looking at language teaching, what happens in the classroom. We're going to have another live session with Professor Ros Mitchell and Dr. Richard Kiley, so there's lots to look forward to. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Bye-bye.